As we continue our conversation about entrepreneurship, there's something that I want to talk about today that I believe we do not talk about enough in entrepreneurship. And so I want to just have an honest conversation about that today. And that simply is that your business will never outgrow you. It may grow in revenue, it may get visibility, it may start to trend, but in terms of depth, of trust, of sustainability, customer loyalty, your business will only grow to the extent that you grow. Now, here's another truth that I want to share, and that's that unhealthy leaders build unhealthy businesses. And guess what? Customers can feel it. They feel your instability. They feel your ego. They feel your insecurity. They feel when you are chasing trends instead of building trust. And no amount of marketing can cover character. Your business will only grow when you grow. The more you grow, the more your business grows. If you want loyal customers, if you want strong referrals, if you want long term sustainability, you must become a stable, emotionally mature, values driven leader. Relationships are not an accessory to business, they are actually the foundation upon which every business is built. And let's talk about what that really means because we like to talk about strategy, we like to talk about marketings and funnels and visibility, but very rarely do we talk about the emotional and relational health of the person leading the company. And yet, that is the foundation upon which the company grows. If you are emotionally reactive, your business will feel unstable. If you are insecure, your business will feel defensive. If you lack clarity, your business will feel confused. And if you are grounded, ethical, and mature, your business will feel safe. And safety is what loyalty is actually built upon. Now, let me give you a little example of that because I am very aware of how I respond as a customer. I worked with a customer I worked with a business just a few weeks ago. And this is maybe the fourth or fifth time that I've worked with this particular business. My initial interaction with her was as my wedding photographer. As my wedding photographer, what stood out to me is that she had ethics, she had values, she had professionalism. And so I decided that I wanted to build upon the relationship that I have with this particular photographer. Now, let me tell you what has stood out to me over the years. As a company, she has her preset packages. She has her pricing structure. She has everything laid out professionally. But none of her preset packages actually fit my budget. And so an unhealthy business owner would have responded with rigid ego saying, well, this is what it is. These are the packages. This is it. They might have made me feel small for my budget not being big enough to suit their preset packages. But this particular photographer, she did not do that. She listened to me. She saw me. She understood that I valued her work and she created a package that fit my budget without compromising her expertise. Because the budget that I set for my photography was very reasonable. And so it also made her understand that she may be missing out on a large volume of business based on the fact that her prepackaged options are a certain tier and there are quality customers that are just beneath that tier or that would be willing to work with her on a consistent basis. So she showed up prepared. She was flexible. She was humble. She demonstrated her mastery in every single session that she and I had. And she made this experience feel collaborative and respectful. And because of that, I've booked her multiple times. Not only have I booked her multiple times, I've referred her to other people. And it wasn't because she was the trendiest photographer on social media. It wasn't because she was running ads. It wasn't because she was loud. It was because she made me feel valued as a business owner. Again, bringing me to the point that relationships are at the core of business. I'll share with you that the support that I have in my home, my housekeeper, one of the things that I love about that relationship is that it's built upon a solid foundation. She was referred to me, I would say maybe 8 or 9 years ago. And from that day to this, that's one of the best referrals I have ever had. And because she took her time to get to know me, to know my preferences, to use the cleaners that I indicated, to not use the toxic cleaners that I don't want in my house. She's very open to feedback. She's very open to sharing her expertise. We built over the last 8 years a beautiful relationship that even if she is not available when I need her, I will wait for her. Not only that, I have referred her, and she and I just joked the last weekend that the vast majority of her clients are my referrals. I've referred her to my doctor, to my best friend. My best friend referred her to her family. I've referred her to my family. 3 family members use her. I've referred her in professional environments to clean offices. And this is because of the relationship and the fact that she is a healthy young woman. If she is toxic, she does not display that in my environment. She doesn't talk about other clients. She's very private and respectful. And I believe that the way you treat people directly impacts their level of loyalty. And I've proven it in these 2 instances. Here's what I want you to know. As a customer, if I feel dismissed, I will not return. If I feel disrespected, I will not refer. If I feel unseen, I will not advocate for you in rooms you are not in. But when I feel understood, when I feel respected, when I feel that a business owner cares both about competence and humility, I become loyal. My photographer and my housekeeper, they didn't just gain a client, they gained a long term relationship. And that is what healthy procedures look like. That is what healthy relationships look like. Now, let's talk about some of the toxic traits that quietly damage businesses. Emotional instability disguised as passion. We've all seen it. There is a difference between being passionate and being unpredictable. If your customers feel like they are walking on eggshells in your presence, they will not stay long. If your team never knows what mood they are walking into when they're walking at work, they will disengage. Another thing is insecurity disguised as control. If you cannot delegate, if you cannot trust, if you micromanage everything because you are afraid of being overshadowed, your growth will stall. Control issues in leadership always leaks into the culture. The other thing that I want to talk about is how chasing trends because you lack identity causes your business to derail. Because if your business shifts directions every few months, customers cannot anchor themselves to you. Loyalty requires consistency. Consistency requires clarity. And clarity requires self awareness. Now, here's the thing, when a leader, a business owner, when they are self aware, they can do the work to check themselves. But then there are business owners who are full of pride. And pride prevents flexibility, it resists feedback, and pride refuses to apologize when you know you are wrong. And I'm here today because I want you to know that customers still value traditional principles. They value honesty, they value fairness, they value consistency. Customers value reliability, humility, and relationships. Now, despite the noise online, most people still choose to do business um, that operate with integrity over businesses that operate with hype. You cannot be innovative and still be grounded. No, not be grounded in traditional values. You can only be innovative when you are grounded in traditional values. You can be modern and still be relational. You can be profitable and still be principled. And the businesses that understand this capitalize on relationships because your customers are not just buying your service. This is the biggest shift I want to encourage you to make. Your customers are buying the experience of being in a relationship with you. And if you have unhealed wounds, they will show up in how you do business. If you are defensive in personal relationships, you will be defensive with clients. If you struggle with boundaries in your personal life, you will struggle with boundaries in your pricing and policies. If you crave validation, you may build a brand addicted to attention rather than anchored in value. And this is exactly why self development is not optional. Personal development is not optional. We must continue to evolve, to grow. We must regulate our emotions. We must learn to communicate with clarity, with openness, being open for people to ask clarifying questions. We must learn to listen without our egos being engaged. We must learn to separate rejection from identity. Essentially, what I'm saying is, as business owners, we must learn to mature. Again, the reason is because our businesses only grow to the extent that we do. Now, the photographer that I mentioned earlier in my example demonstrated emotional intelligence in her interaction with me. Her name is Kava Query. She demonstrated flexibility without desperation, expertise without arrogance. That is what maturity looks like. That is what a healthy relationship looks like. And health builds loyalty. So you may be saying, well, DeQuesta, you tell me all of this. So what should I do? I'm so glad you asked that question because I have a lot of information that I want to share with you. First of all, one part of the solution is examine yourself honestly. We must be willing to look in the mirror. Let me show you what I mean. We must be willing to look in the mirror and truly see how we show up. We must see where we are reactive, see where we are rigid, see where we are insecure, see when we are overcompensating, see when our communication skills are not at there. We have to be willing to look at us, see where we are, and then figure out where we want to go to be a successful entrepreneur, and then create the roadmap to get there. Secondly, we must commit to growth. If you are the same person today that you were last year and the year before that, you are so stale. Like, sis, you stale. And so growing means that you're investing in mentorship, you're seeking feedback, you're getting a coach, you're reflecting regularly, you're upgrading your mindset. It doesn't make sense to upgrade your marketing if you're going to kill your business by having a poor mindset and a poor attitude. Thirdly, I want to encourage you to anchor your business in values, not in trends. Trends change too fast. Decide what principles guide your decisions. This comes from knowing who you are, knowing what your values are, knowing what you want to be known for as a business person, and showing up in that light. Anchor your business in your values and don't abandon your values for temporary attention, seeking fast likes, seeking to go viral on social media. Do not compromise your integrity. Fourthly, I want to encourage you to prioritize relationships. Follow up with people. Every relationship is two-sided. It can't be all that you take. You must also be willing to give. For me, I love supporting the people in my community. In the Thriving Together community, when our members are putting on events, if I cannot attend, I invest in that opportunity by purchasing tickets and giving them away, or giving an investment in that to that person to help with the event, because generosity is one of the success keys in life. And we cannot expect people to give if we're not willing to give. Takers only take. Givers give and take. So be willing to be a giver and a taker in your relationships. If you want to build your business on good relationships, remember small details like birthdays, like anniversaries. Like in a conversation, somebody cleaned our office last week, and she said, hey, I'm having surgery next week, and I sent her a note today to say, hope your surgery was successful. These are the things that help build relationships. Remember the details. Honor your commitments, apologize when necessary, and be the type of leader that people feel safe with. When people feel safe, they give you another level of performance. And so, if you want a healthy business, become a healthy leader. Your growth is what is determining your ceiling. Your character will determine your longevity, and your relational maturity determines the loyalty that you will get. So instead of asking yourself how to get more customers, ask yourself how to become the kind of leader that customers want to stay with. Because I'll say it again, businesses are dependent on relationships. Relationships are not just an accessory, they are the foundation. And so before we close out this live, I want you to just reflect. I want you to understand that your business is just not strategy. It's a reflection of your character, your emotional maturity, how you treat people when things are inconvenient, when budgets are tight, when feedback stings, and when you are tight. Like, relationships are at the core of your business. The way you make people feel determines whether they return. The way you respond under pressure determines whether they trust you or not. The way you carry yourself determines whether they refer you in rooms when you are not in those rooms. So if you want loyalty, become trustworthy. If you want growth, become disciplined. If you want sustainability, become stable. And if you want legacy, become the type of leader your future requires. Don't just upgrade your marketing, sis. Upgrade yourself. Now, if this message resonated with you at all, just reflect on it. Reflect on one area where you know that you may need to mature as a leader. Don't shame yourself. Don't carry yourself hard. Acknowledge it, being aware of it. Growth begins with awareness. And if you're committed to building a business that's rooted in integrity and strength, and real relationships, let's stay connected, because I want to help you build differently, build with depth, and I want to help you be successful. So I'm so happy that you watched this live today, and I hope that you grabbed some nuggets. If you did, drop one or two in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you in our next conversation. Thanks for being with me.